Hello and welcome to today's Heartlift with Janell. Welcome back. We are in a bonus episode of questions and answers with author Jennifer Dukes-Lee. We're talking about journaling. If you missed it, go back and check out part 1, where Jennifer and I are talking about her new book, Stuff I'd Only Tell God, a guided journal of courageous honesty, obsessive truth-telling, and beautifully ruthless self-discovery. Jennifer wrote this book so that we would have a space in which to be gut-level honest with God. She calls it your own little confession booth. I love that. Growing up Catholic, I know that booth very well. She writes, what would you say if you were completely honest with yourself and with God? Well, it's time to find out. So go back, listen to part 1. It's rich and filled with such great conversation about the power of journaling. And what more perfect time than right now? We are spending season 12 in a summer of slowing down, a summer of exploration of new rhythms, of finding a new pace in our life and exploring spiritual disciplines and practices that will invite us into a more contemplative life, a life where those practices we tend to avoid, stillness, silence, and solitude, are becoming more friendly to us. We're understanding them more. And understanding brings a certain level of ease. We're like, okay, maybe they weren't what we thought they were, the stillness, silence, and solitude thing. But I'm so grateful for our guest, Jennifer Dukes-Lee, who is helping us understand the value and the vitality of putting our thoughts, our deepest thoughts, our scary thoughts, onto paper. In another great book on spiritual disciplines, Adele Alberg-Calhoun writes this about journaling. The ongoing nature of a journal catalogs the journey of a soul into God. It reveals how we hammer out our identity as a Christ follower through the ups and downs of daily routines as well as in times of crisis. There's no right way to journal. You don't need to journal every day or even every week. There is a rhythm that you will find. Find that rhythm of journaling that suits your phase and stage of life. If writing isn't your thing, then make a journal of photos or drawings or articles. I do that too. Assign key words or thoughts or themes to those entries. If you don't write well, remember that you don't need to write beautifully or even use complete sentences. Journaling is a way for you to be with God and your thoughts, not an exercise in language arts. I love that. Tell the truth to God and yourself as best you can. Review what you write on a regular basis. Boy, do I do that. I really do. I go back and go, wow, I don't even remember that happening, or I don't remember saying that or writing that. As you do this, you will begin to recognize recurring life themes, desires, frustrations, and patterns of interaction. These insights become matters for dialogue with God. Okay, Heartlifters, here we go. Just a fun question and answer time with Jennifer Dukes-Lee, author of Stuff I'd Only Tell God. Enjoy.
Sometimes the story we tell ourselves is not really true. Sometimes the story others tell about us is not really true. Here on today's Heartlift with Janell, we are going to learn how to rewrite our story. So pick up your favorite pen and journal, grab a cup of something delicious, and start your heart-lifting journey towards living a meaningful life.
So I don't want to end with some fun questions that maybe you and I can just ask back and forth or whatever.
That's a great idea. Yes.
Okay. What is one of the most important promises you ever kept, Jennifer?
Well, one of the most important promises I have ever kept was to do everything in my power to let my dad stay home when he was dying last year.
Oh, no. Wow. I did not expect you to say that.
And he really did not want to go into a nursing home, and mom didn't want him to go into a nursing home. And there is nothing wrong with anybody listening right now who has made the decision to move their parent into a nursing home. But I had the time and the ability and the distance to be able to help with my parents so that dad was able to be in the home. I mean, he died in the bedroom there. He went to heaven in that moment when we were in the room. And so that feels like I was glad I got to keep it. If I couldn't have kept it, I wouldn't have beat myself up over it, because it really wasn't in the end my promise to keep. I could only do so much. God is in the midst of these things. But that's something I would definitely say I feel really good about.
I love that. I love that you said that, because I think, especially your children are now young adults, college age. Mine are all in their 30s. And I feel like one thing that I've learned the last couple of years is that I cannot say things that I know. I can't promise things that I may not be able to answer. Like, I'll always be there for you. I may not always be able to be there for you. That's been one of my adult parenting awakenings, I guess. Just making, like you said, a promise that I'll let dad stay home. Well, that's a beautiful promise, but maybe there would have been a point where that would have been impossible for you to keep. And then maybe God would have instructed something different, because we parent under his tutelage and his direction. I think of Isaac walking up the mountain to put him on the altar. Abraham would never have ever expected that he would have had to do that. So I just think this is a little aside, but I think it's a beautiful aside in our conversation today, that is even something that you can work out in your journal. Like, wow, I thought I would be able to promise my children that I will always be there for them. But some situation comes up where God actually says, I want you to move away from that because they need to grow closer to me. And then that gets, it's like, does that?
Absolutely.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, there are things that there's just some promises that we make that we have to be careful about what we make and what we think is within our power, and lift all of these things, our vows and our promises, up to God. What is your will with this? But if this is your will, give me and my siblings, in the case of dad, the power to do this for my parents, and he provided, and so we thank him for that, and but also hold these things quite loosely.
Yes, and quite loosely handing them over.
That's right.
Into our Father's more capable hands. I love that. Okay, if you could ask God one question, what would it be? Right now, today.
Oh yeah, it's always around suffering related to the innocent, the most innocent people. And I get that we live in a broken world. I get that bad things happen to good people. But it's hard for me to wrap around suffering that involves little people,
little children.
And I mean, I can't my theology. I mean, I know the reality of my theology, but
I know it here.
It is difficult for me to wrap my mind around that. And so that's definitely a question that I have for God. How about you? How would you answer it?
Oh, you're such a reporter, you. I love this. I'm not prepared for you turning the tables on me today.
Well, you can always edit this out, right?
I'm not going to. I like being stunned. It's a rare occasion. Woo! If I could ask God one question, what would it be? Why do my children all live so far away from me?
Oh, I think I'm going to be where you are. Where are they? How far are they from you?
My oldest lives in South America, in Uruguay, and then is moving to Belgium with her husband and my first grandchild. And my twin daughter lives in St. Louis, and my twin son lives in Kansas with my second baby boy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, that's just off the top of my head, but
Yeah.
it is like,
I mean, yeah, that's all
do
we
they
got,
not
right?
like me? Do they not want to be around me? Oh, they're just so secure. They flew the nest. And that's what everyone's like. They're just secure. You did a good job. They're not near me. I think it's just really hard. I did not ever expect.
Yeah.
And I have journaled this. I don't understand, but I guess you do.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do life with my children. And my son will say, we're doing life. I'm like, no, you are not bounding through my door for a lunch, for a sandwich, and I'm not bounding through yours to see little Isaac today, So yeah, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's be funny. What is the weirdest thing in your purse, wallet, or go-to bag?
Okay. Oh, so I am the worst person to ask this question because I keep my bags
You're
impeccably
tidy. Yes.
I do. And so then I have nothing weird in there. I have something kind of cool in there though that I'll mention.
We can go with that.
So we were given, after my dad died, we were given these coins, and it had like a walleye on one side that was engraved on there because he loved walleye fishing. And then on the other side was his name. And it's just like when I reach down in my purse and it'll touch that, it's just like a cool reminder of Dad. It was such a
remembrance
precious
stone.
gift. Yeah, it is like a remembrance stone.
So it's not necessarily,
well, it's kind of weird, but it's mostly just memorable.
What is a walleye fishing? What's walleye?
A walleye.
A walleye.
A walleye. And so that is a kind of fish. And Dad and I and my siblings loved to go bass or walleye fishing with Dad.
Is that like territorial or geographical to certain areas? Or I've never heard of it.
Certainly, you know what? I think you're right. So I do think like Washington, I might be wrong. Sorry, Washington people.
Hey,
I have this wrong. I think maybe Washington and Oregon. But definitely where we walleye fished was Canada at Lake of the Woods and northern Minnesota.
Beautiful. That sounds perfect. My whole maternal side's from Wisconsin. They probably do know that.
Oh, they'll know. Yeah, they have walleye there too, I'm sure.
Oh, they do. Okay.
Yeah.
All righty. Last question. This is fun. Ooh, what would you buy if money wasn't an object?
Oh,
I know.
I'm gonna. So you know your answer to this one. Uh-huh. Okay, well then we're gonna have to do that too. So I bet I know yours. And it's like, if I were to guess yours, I think it's trips to South America.
A house in each place.
Dance. That's right. Yeah, not just trips. A
house
in each place.
on water with a beautiful front porch.
Okay. So then what I'm going to get then is like tickets to come stay at your house because I think we would just have great fun together.
We would have so much fun and we'll just write and we'll journal. I'll bring all thousands of my markers and stickers. I mean, I have a heart journal. And so that is where I paste like stuff from trips. It's like a scrapbook, but it's a mini scrapbook and I'll write beautiful things that I remember from the trip so that it's just a little bit. Now you can even get those on photo book, like in photo books, and you can write in the photo book, and that's even a little bit easier. But I love stickers and putting, things I get from, where I visit. And that's so, great. Yes, we will do that. And I'll bring all of my stuff and we'll have a great journaling experience. Thank you so much for bringing your light and your radiance and your wisdom to us and your questions. You're good.
Oh, this is so fun. I love it. This is such a blast. Thanks for having me.
I love it too. And I just think this would be such a great, beautiful book to begin and practice during the summer. So we're going to kick off with that. And so Heartlifters, you have to get Stuff I'd Only Tell God by Miss Jennifer Dukes Lee. I know that you've learned so much today, and I'm hoping that a Jeopardy question will be about walleye fish. Did I say it
There
right?
We go. Then they would get that right. Walleye, yes.
I'll get it right. I'll be like, that's a walleye fish. My husband will be like, what? Okay. Many blessings. And hopefully I will see you one day in one of my houses on my beautiful front porch.
I can just imagine it. Sounds great.
I can really imagine it, actually. Thank you.
Thanks for listening today. It was great having you here. For even more great content and resources, please join the Stronger Everyday online community at janellreardon.com. Always remember, you, my friend, have value, worth, and dignity.